Hello, and welcome to 5-Minute Math. Today we are looking at the 8th grade concept of trend lines. This is standard 8.5D in the great state of Texas, and we are using item number 4 of the 2024 released STAAR test. If you haven't done so already, please go ahead and take a moment to pause the video, work this problem out on your own, unpause it, and we will look at our answers together. All right, so we've got a company employee that's reading financial reports, and we've got the lengths and reading times for those reports. And so we've got the number of pages, and then it kind of, obviously, as you see, it goes up. So we need to make a prediction of where we're going to sit with 90 pages. All right, so let's make this full page here. All right, so I want to keep this not 100% transparent, because I want to use this graphing feature to really help us try to do something here. And so what I want to do is I want to see if we can extend this graph here, and I want to kind of play around with the grid size. Right, so I want to see if I could find one. You can't really move it side to side, but you can move it up and down. And want to see if we can get something that's going to match kind of closely. Right, and so what we can do here, all right, we use the small grids here. What I want to do is I want to put on this graph right here, we're going to get as close as we can, right? 95, 105, 125, and 155. The reason I want to use this graph is because you'll notice, I mean, we're going to be off the graph, right? So here's kind of the scale that we're using, right? So about every three, you know what? Yeah, every three of these rows is going to be another 10, right? So we're skip counting by tens, and it looks like it's roughly about 3 per. It's not exactly perfect, but we can kind of use that as a mark. So I've got 110 right up here because that's 1, 2, 3 rows up, right? And what I need here, let's see if we can get it so we can see the whole thing. Right, what we need here is to put 125 and 155. I can put a 95 and a 105, but 125 and 155 are kind of off the graph. So that's going to be a 110. Right? And then 3 rows up, I'm going to mark it 1, 2, 3, right up there. I'm just going to go and put it over on this side because I'm going to put it on the 90, right? That's going to be a 120. And then another 3 rows up, 1, 2, 3, it's going to be 130. And then another 3 rows up, 1, 2, 3, it's going to be a 140. And then, good gracious, we're already up at the very top here. That's going to be like 150. So 155 is going to be off the graph, so that's not going to be easy. But let's go ahead and put this 90 page. Let's put some dots on 90, and then I want to put 95, right? So 95 is going to be right in between these two. 105 is going to be between the 100 and the 90 and the 110 there. Then I've got the 125, so that's why I had to go off the graph. It's going to go way up there, and it's going to be right in between our 130 and 120. And then 155 is, I mean, I'll put it up here as the 150, but it's off the graph. We can't even get that high based on the space that we have. And what I want to do is I want to use the connect line feature, right? So we can infer that if you read 0 pages, it's going to take you 0 minutes. So I'm going to be able to put a spot right here at the origin, 0, 0. What I want to do is I want to connect line here. And I'm just going to kind of drag this end here, and I'm going to see if I make the end, this first one, you notice how the red line is not in between most of my dots, right? So it's below it. If I put it at the 105, it includes some. Let's see if that's a slightly better fit. Look at that right there. At 125 is right going to be on this one, and between these two and between these two, that is going to be our best fit. So our answer is C.